Chapter 14, physical fitness correlates with activity. Number 3 on our 10 activity outline. And this just gives some all of the exercises that you can choose from for the fitness part of your lesson plan. Before we begin, let's differentiate between what's physical activity and what is physical fitness. I want you to know physical activity is a process that involves accumulating a wide variety of movement. And this is our major concern in elementary PE, physical activity. The definition of physical fitness, or what you want to know about physical fitness, is that it's usually measured in some type of standard or form that's in place to ensure good health. Howell and Frank's definition is a state of well-being with a low risk of premature health problems and energy to participate in a variety of physical activities. So I definitely want you to know the two types of physical fitness that you see here on the PowerPoint slide. The first one is health-related physical fitness, and the second one is skill-related fitness. Okay? And we're going to discuss in great detail the difference between the two. For instance, your health-related fitness, I want you to know it's really characterized by moderate to vigorous physical activity. Moderate to vigorous physical activity. And that was discussed in Chapter 3, but we're not doing Chapter 3. Health-related fitness, I want you to know, is a better match for people who are generally unwilling to exercise at high intensities. Okay, so if we want to do moderate, we want to do health-related fitness. We can integrate these activities into our these health-related fitness activities into our everyday activities, or what we call lifetime activities. But in stark contrast is skill-related fitness. And what I want you to know about skill-related fitness, it also includes the health-related components that I just talked about, but it also includes components related to physical performance, and it's performance at a high level. So if you want to perform at a high level, I want you to know this is the right choice for you. But think about it. Most elementary kids are not interested in performing at high levels. It requires training and exercising at high intensities. So it may be the right choice if you can and want to perform at a high level, but it's less acceptable to most people because of the training and exercising required at high intensities. Some more comparisons that I want you to know between health-related physical fitness and skill-related physical fitness. Health-related fitness, I want you to know, benefits all students. Regardless of your athletic ability, health-related fitness benefits all students by improving their health status just by doing daily physical activities. But health-related fitness is for all students. Well, okay, I thought it was skill-related, but as I said, health-related fitness is for all students regardless of their ability level and genetic limitations. Because you're going to find skill-related fitness, it has a lot to do with genetics. So one more concept about health-related fitness I want you to know. It helps students develop positive lifetime activity habits. Positive lifetime activity habits. So the skill-related fitness, as I said, is strongly influenced by genetics and their athletic ability. So it is less acceptable to most people. I want you to know there's this fitnessgram that the Cooper Institute developed in 2017 that is most used to test today in our schools. I want you to know it is a criterion referenced health standards related to your good health. So these criterion standards, they're going to specify a level of fitness needed to help protect students from the diseases because of sedentary living. So this Fitnogram, they have their performance in 3 categories. One category is needing improvement, and the person's at high risk. A second category is needing improvement and at somewhat of a risk. And then the third category, which is where you want to be or I want to be, is Healthy Fitness Zone, HFZ. Okay? It's not designed to compare students. The goal is for all the students to achieve and move their personal performance into that healthy fitness zone. So we have 4 components that I'm about to talk to you about. This figure 14.1 is a good diagram to show you how the health-related fitness is the core of our physical fitness, but skill-related fitness also includes health-related fitness. And that's why they put it in the donut shape, to show that health-related fitness is a component of skill-related fitness. As I said earlier about the health-related physical fitness test, about the Criterion Reference Health Standard, here's the PowerPoint slide to support what I was saying about the Fitnogram and the actual 3 performance categories: needs improvement, high risk, need improvement, somewhat of a risk, or the healthy fitness zone. And it's not to compare students. It's actually to more of a personal performance to achieve and get to the healthy fitness zone. As I said, the Fitnogram has 4 components. It measures 4 components of a health-related physical fitness activities. Or these are the components. The first one is the aerobic capacity. So I want you to know this is seen as the most important element of fitness. Most important element of fitness, aerobic capacity. And an alternative to running a mile is this progressive aerobic cardiovascular endurance run. We call it the PACER test, to measure their aerobic capacity for the elementary age kids. This is excellent alternative to running the mile. They run 15 to 20 meters back and forth, back and forth, back and forth in the gym, if you have a gym. And then they gradually increase or try and do more, see how much they can do in an amount of time, or does the time decrease with the numbers that they do back and forth. And what's good about it, they're not intimidated compared to running the mile. Number 2 is body composition. So your body composition, I want you to know this is your proportion of body fat to lean body mass. Body fat to lean body mass. So your body, what is it composed of? What percentage of your body is fat? What percentage of your body is lean body mass? Well, there's 2 ways of doing it. The skin fold test, where you have this little apparatus. It kind of looks like a pliers type of thing, and you pinch certain body parts, and you do it 3 times on each body part, like it might be your back of your arm, which is around your triceps area. You're going to do around your waist, and the person would pinch it and read the reading off of this skin fold test. Some people also do the legs. Then you add the 3 scores up, and then you look on this chart, this table, to see what percentage of your body is fat. Another way to determine your body composition is called the BMI calculation, body mass index. Most people like this compared to the skin fold. It's less invasive, and we're definitely going to talk some more about BMI in a later PowerPoint slide in this chapter. Number 3, the third component is flexibility. How flexible are you? When you sit down, spread your feet out like in a V, about shoulder width apart. Flex your feet. How far can you reach beyond your toes without bending your knees? This is measuring your flexibility in your lower back. The 4th component that I want you to know is your muscular strength. and muscular endurance. I want you to know the difference between muscular strength and muscular endurance. Muscular strength is the ability of the muscles to exert a force. When you have strength in areas like picking up a heavy desk, okay? Muscular endurance, its definition I want you to know, is the ability to exert force over an extended period of time. Extended period of time. So doing things like a lot of reps and light weights, that's more muscular endurance, as opposed to raising a bench press, like a real heavy weights in just one time. That would be more muscular strength. So we have abdominal strength. To measure your abdominal strength, we have the curl up test, which is basically sit-ups. You bend your knees, slide your hands up your legs, up to your knees, and that constitutes one. And you have X amount of time and see how many sit-ups you can do. The upper body strength is the push-up test, done to a cadence. See how many push-ups you can complete. Or there's pull-ups you can do as alternatives, or a modified pull-up, the flexed arm hang. These are alternatives if you can't do a pull-up. Trunk extensor strength and flexibility, where you're face down and then you lift your upper body 12 inches off the floor using your back muscles, and you must hold that position till a measurement can be made. So we've been talking about health-related physical fitness. Now let's talk about skill-related physical fitness. I want you to know this is definitely related to athletic ability. Athletic ability. Your inherited traits, and this is why so many students are not able to perform at the highest level, because of their inherited traits. So, the skill-related fitness components are agility. I want you to know the definition of these four. So agility, the body's ability to change position rapidly and accurately while moving in space. You may have done like I forgot how many feet it is now, 40 feet maybe, and did a shuttle run where you had to pick up an eraser and bring it back, run and pick up a second eraser and bring it back. The shuttle run, that was measuring your agility. For balance, I want you to know the definition is the body's ability to maintain a state of equilibrium while either stationary or moving. Most of your sports require a sense of balance. Coordination, I want you to know, is the body's ability to perform more than one motor task at a time. Many of your sports, football, baseball, tennis, soccer, and all these, they require good eye-hand and eye-foot coordination, and you have to repeatedly practice this in order to learn the skill. That's coordination. Power, I want you to know, is the ability to transfer energy explosively into force. So in order to develop power, it requires performing strength activities with maximum force and as quickly as possible. These you see in like high jump, long jump, shot put, throwing, kicking, your track type of things. Then speed, the definition of speed is the body's ability to move rapidly in a short period of time. You may have had a short distance to run to see how fast you were. So the 5 components of skill-related fitness are agility, balance, coordination, power, and speed. So this chapter discusses the various reasons why PE teachers believe that today's youth are less fit than they were in the past. Do you feel like this is a true statement? I find with technology, it's one of the major hindrances of our kids playing outside and doing something else. So why can't all children meet the fitness standards? We're about to talk about that. Why can't all children meet the fitness standards? Just like heredity or genetics affected the skill-related fitness, heredity also directly affects all the aspects of health-related fitness. So genetically, some of these students may not be able to meet the fitness standards. Just like in the classroom, the cognitive lessons learned, some students can get it, some students can't. It's all due to genetics. So I want you to know research clearly shows that heredity and maturation, how mature these students are, also strongly affects the fitness scores. In fact, these factors may have more to do with youth fitness scores than the actual activity level does. So heredity, genetics, the maturation, some students, in second grade, they might be 8 years old, they might be 7 years old, they might be 9 years old. And then we talked about the 5 to 6 year variance of the maturation level of our students. So with all that factored in, it's very difficult to say second graders or 8 years old ought to be able to do such and such. Another thing I want you to know is the differences in trainability. Being able to train. This is strongly influenced also by genetics. And this explains why some people benefit from training, which is regular physical activity, more than others do. So genetics has a huge factor in why students don't meet the fitness standards. Also, we talk about physical maturation and age. I want you to know that. These are also some factors that influence the student's fitness performance and whether they can meet the fitness standards. And then lastly, we talk about their lifestyle. How sedentary are they? What are they exposed to after 3 p.m. and leaving school? Their environmental factors. Do they live in town? Do they live in a suburb? Do they live in the country? What are they able to do because of their environment and their lifestyle? On page 277 in the yellow section, they have, I don't know what you want to call it, this extra excerpt about fitness, physical activity, and healthy eating habits. So it's not just physical activity and physical fitness that's the only variables related to childhood obesity. They're promoting here that we also have to have healthy eating. Well, what are the 5 major concepts that I got out of this yellow section on page 277? We as teachers need to integrate as much nutrition content into the PE curriculum as possible without compromising our PE program. Number 2, we want to address these healthy eating practices with other members of the faculty and staff so they can model positive practices like we should be modeling positive practices. Number 3, use pointed decision prompts in your cafeteria and throughout your school that promotes healthy choices. For instance, food labels. What do these kids like to eat? And show them how to read and understand a food label. Number 4, we can randomly reward students who consume healthy foods by just giving them a sticker. And then there's this website, ChooseMyPlate.gov. Back in 2011, the USDA, the Department of Agriculture, unveiled this, focusing on how to balance your calories. It's a real good site for the youngsters. They put in their age, their height, their weight, their sex, and then it tells them how many calories. Oh, they also ask you how much you exercise, and then it tells you how many calories they should consume. And it makes them more aware of what they're eating, especially if you have your endomorphs. Remember the tubbies? They don't call it tubbies in this book anymore, which I understand why. But your endomorphs, maybe they might want to lose weight. You may have some ectomorphs that want to gain weight. So they could go to this website, ChooseMyPlate.gov, and work on that. Earlier we talked about BMI. Well, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, has these 4 different categories, I call them, uh, in which they rank a person with their BMI. So one category is underweight. Then you have the healthy weight, which is what we want to be in the 5th percentile to less than the 85th percentile. Then you have your overweight, 85th to 95th percentile. Then you have your obese. So when you're looking at a BMI, these are the 4 different categories a person could fall in. Now we're going to talk about this some more in a little bit later, but BMI uses your height and your weight. Earlier we talked about BMI. Well, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, has these 4 different categories, I call them, in which they rank a person with their BMI. So one category is underweight. Then you have the healthy weight, which is what we want to be in the 5th percentile to less than the 85th percentile. Then you have your overweight, 85th to 95th percentile. Then you have your obese. So when you're looking at a BMI, these are the 4 different categories a person could fall in. Now we're going to talk about this some more in a little bit later, but BMI uses your height and your weight. So on page 278, they talk about reporting the BMI to parents. And basically, as I said earlier, your BMI scores are calculated by taking the child's height and weight and then graphing it, placing it, and seeing where does it fall within what percentile. Now, I put on here that it's controversial because it is very controversial among professionals, but it's so easy to do as opposed to the skin fold calculation for your body mass, your how much body fat and lean body mass you have. So this BMI is an estimate, and this is the website you can go to, cdc.gov, Healthy Weight BMI Calculator, if you would like to see where your child or niece or nephew fall into the category, because they do from ages 2 to 20. So if any of you are 18, 19, or 20, you could see what your BMI is. And there's a scale for boys on page 279, and there's a scale for girls on page 280. And normally when we would be in class, I would ask one of you to tell me the height and weight of your child or niece or nephew, and then we would plot it on this chart and see what percentile he or she falls in. So your BMI is just an indicator of the body fat for most, but not for all, because there's exceptions to the rule. If you're short in stature, if you're a short person, if you are very athletic, then you're very muscular and you're going to weigh more. So it's not an accurate indicator for you. And the reason why they like the BMI, or to do the BMI, it's inexpensive. It's very easy to do. And it's used as an alternative to the skin fold that I talked about, which is a more direct measure of body fat, which can be a little embarrassing to the children. So I want you to know, parents can see if their child falls into the healthy weight percentiles, or decide whether they might need to consult a professional because their child falls into one of the other unhealthy categories that we just got through talking about: underweight, overweight, or obese. Should we use rewards for the performance? Originally, they thought it would help motivate the students to improve their fitness level, but the fitness awards usually motivate only those students who believe they can earn the rewards. So if you do choose to offer awards, reward them for participation in their daily activity. You can use extrinsic rewards sparingly so that they do not undermine the actual intrinsic motivation that these students should have to want to do well. So what are some guidelines when using extrinsic rewards that they talk about on page 281? You want to base your rewards on achievement of challenging but yet attainable goals. You don't want to be so difficult for them that they feel like they cannot get it or succeed or have a chance to get it. Number two, if your goals seem unattainable, then learned helplessness sets in. This occurs when their performance rather than participation is rewarded. Learned helplessness. They can't get it, so, oh, my tummy hurts, or, oh, I turned my ankle, or, oh, I don't feel well. Okay, learned helplessness. Number three, I want you to know teachers often use extrinsic rewards to get the behavior started. But this system should be phased out over time, because by the time they get to age 9 or 10, these students start to realize and use it as a form of bribery to get what they want or do what they want. So we need to gradually remove these extrinsic rewards so that they will have an intrinsic desire or a personal reason to do it. Number four, develop an alternative long-term approach that's going to focus on the behavior rather than that single outcome of getting X amount of push-ups done or sit-ups or so forth. Giving recognition for daily participation in an activity is a good idea by verbally telling them something that they did good. So what are some effective uses of fitness testing? I want you to know your fitness tests are designed to evaluate and educate students about the status of their physical fitness. Their status of their physical fitness. So we have fitness tests. We have limitations, and some show very low validity to it. But the first option we have for the students is their own personal self-testing. As an individual, as a student, they can do it by themselves. They can do it with a friend. But this is very student-centered. The teacher is not going to interfere in the process. Now, you have to have more mature students at this. You know, your little ones, you may not be able to get it. But the third, fourth, or fifth graders could. You want them to be concerned with the process of fitness testing, emphasizing for them to learn how to self-evaluate their own fitness level. Your second type of fitness testing is a personal best testing, and this appeals to your gifted. It's a type of formal testing. The objective is to achieve the maximum score in each of the test items. So once the test items are performed correctly, following certain test protocols, you see how many they can do or how much time it takes and so forth. This can even be done outside the class time, so the students won't be embarrassed. They can choose to participate, or they can decide not to. The third type of fitness testing is within the institution, evaluating the actual school, campus, so forth. So I want you to know that if you want to see if your school is reaching its desired objective, you may want to examine the students' fitness levels at your school. But I want you to know also that caution should be urged in using any type of fitness test for this purpose, because the elementary school children, they're going to show little response to fitness training. Even though you're the best teacher in the world, these elementary children may not improve. So typically, an institutional goal is to set for the percentage of the student body to meet or exceed these criterion reference health standards. You have the formal and the standardized, and the parents and other staff can help administer the test. What about those students with disabilities? We want to make sure these students also have the same opportunity to participate. We talked about the FitnessGram test that the Cooper Institute developed in 2017. It meets their needs for identifying health-related fitness. There are also some alternatives. You have the Brockport physical fitness test. that was developed in 2014 for your certain special needs, but emphasis should be placed on increasing their daily activity and not so much about the evaluation of their fitness level. On page 283, they talk about creating positive attitudes toward fitness. I want you to know the way you teach fitness activities is going to determine how these students feel about making fitness a part of their lifestyle. So we want to be encouraging, we want to be positive when we're doing this. So what are some ways? I want you to know all 8 of these. Number 1, personalized fitness activities. Remember, the children in grades 1 through 5 are top heavy. They have that oversized head in relation to the rest of their body. So it is very difficult for them to do push-ups or sit-ups. So we need to take that into consideration when we're designing fitness activities. Number 2, I want you to know we need to expose them to a variety of fitness activities. Now, you can do the same fitness activities this week, but change them up a little bit next week and the next week and the next week. You don't have to change it up every day, but you change it up and use a variety of them. Number 3, I want you to know, give the students positive feedback about their efforts. This will contribute to the way they view fitness activities. You give immediate feedback, specific feedback regarding their efforts. It's going to encourage them to continue to participate. Number 4, we want to teach physical skills and fitness. These are the 2 important components of physical education: physical fitness and physical skills. So we want these skills are the tools that they're going to use as adults when they're going to be playing tennis or badminton or swimming or golf or basketball or aerobics or bicycling. We want to teach physical skills and fitness. Number 5, I want you to know you and I need to be role models. Our appearance, our attitude speaks loudly, and this will affect their values regarding fitness. Number 6, the care about children's attitudes. I want you to know attitudes dictate how students participate in activities. Attitudes dictate how students participate in activities. So, I also want you to know when students are trained without concern for their feelings, the result may be fit children who hate physical activity. And this negative attitude is very difficult to change. So we want to keep positive attitudes. Number 7, I want you to know you want to start easy and progress slowly. When you're developing fitness, it's a journey. It's not a destination. So a rule of thumb is to have the students start at a level that they can accomplish successfully. You don't want to force them into excessive workloads too soon. As long as they are trying, that's what we want, as long as they are participating. And then number 8, use low intensity activity. So I want you to know the amount of activity needed for good health is dictated by intensity and duration. Is it a high level, high volume? Most children do high volume and low intensity. As adults, we do low intensity and low volume because we have little time for activity each day, but these kids have time. So when the teachers and the parents reinforce regular low intensity activity, the fitness follows to where the children, if they have the hereditary component and the maturation level, the fitness will follow. I like how they added these little slides about discussion questions, and they would be great discussions in class. So, like this one, personalizing fitness activities. How does that affect the student's motivation? How did it affect your motivation, or it didn't affect your motivation? You didn't want to do it. And then how can you as a physical educator be a role model for your students? Participating as much as you can while still observing all students. There's numerous ways we can do that. So, how can we develop an understanding of the physical fitness principles? I want you to know these 8 of them, this slide and the next slide. Here are some suggestions for integrating fitness concepts into PE. Number one, you can provide basic explanations of anatomy and kinesiology, the names of the major bones, the locations of these bones, the muscles. You can, to stop the class, you can say patella, 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 and they say kneecap, kneecap, kneecap. And this is just an example of learning. You could have them learn one bone a week throughout and then go to the muscles and work on the major muscles, biceps, triceps, hamstrings, thighs, gluteus maximus. Number two, I want you to know you need to provide an understanding of how fitness is developed. Explain the value of the procedures in class so that they will understand the purpose. They want to know why. Why should they have to do this? Number three, bring the class together at the end of the class, and this is where you're going to discuss these key components, fitness components, and you're going to help them understand why this particular fitness is important. Number four, cognition, the mind, thinking. They need to understand the why of the importance of fitness, how and why to perform these fitness activities. Number five, I like the idea, and I want you to know we can place bulletin boards in the teaching areas to explain these components of PE, and that way the parents, the students see it, whether it's in the gym, the classroom, as a visual aid to the students. Number six, most kids like music. So you can accompany your fitness routines with music to help motivate the students. I know when I used to work out, I liked listening to music. It's relaxing depending on the music and where you are. But most kids like music. Number seven, help the kids understand the values of physical fitness and the physiology of its development and maintenance. And then number eight, self-testing programs. You want to emphasize that to teach them to evaluate their own personal fitness levels. What are some fitness activities or exercises that you should avoid? They're telling us here not to place our hands behind our head or high on our neck when we're doing sit-ups, when we're doing straight legs. Make sure it can cause difficulty in maintaining the proper pelvic tilt. Let's see. Do not hold the feet. Having another student secure the feet places that unnecessary strain on your lumbar vertebra, the lower back. They're saying do not lift your buttocks and lumbar region off of the floor. Okay. There is 2 types of stretching exercises that can be done, static and ballistic. Static is has been used lately for a long time. Way back when I was in high school, we did ballistic stretching where it's more of a bouncing movement. Think of the word ball, and a ball bounces. And now, for a long time, they said ballistic stretching wasn't acceptable. But guess what? Now they're saying both are acceptable in increasing or help to decrease muscle soreness. So you want to stretch before you do your activities to prevent injuries, and you want to stretch after you're doing activities to increase your flexibility. Bending to touch your toes should be done from the hips, not the waist. And the next slide continues with some more harmful practices that we should avoid. When you're doing the straight leg raises from the supine position, which is lying on your back, you should avoid doing that because it's going to put unnecessary strain on your lower back. Avoid the deep knee bends like squats and the duck walk, could mess up your knees. When you're stretching from a standing position, the student should not hyperextend their knees, kind of go backwards with them. If they can't touch it, you might let them bend them a little bit. Avoid activities that place stress on the neck. Do not have students perform the so-called hurdler stretch. And now I'm seeing them doing it, so who knows? Avoid stretches that demand excessive back arching. In order to implement a year-long fitness plan, I want you to know you need to develop a year-long plan of fitness instruction that helps ensure that the students have a variety of experiences. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's so important. Variety. I also want you to know you need to allow for progression. And I also want you to know you want to offer a well-rounded program of instruction. So these fitness units, they should vary in length depending on the age of the students. So there's one principle that you need to adhere to, or you need to understand. There is no single method for developing fitness that is best for all children. No method, no single method. So offer a variety of routines and activities that can be used outside of the classroom. And then we want variations to allow students to do their best. Implementing fitness routines on page 287. Number 1, you want to proceed your fitness instruction with a 2 to 3 minute warm-up period. This is going to be called our introductory activity. When we get to the actual lesson and how to create a lesson, your introductory activity is going to take 2 to 3 minutes, and that's going to be your warm-up. Number 2, your fitness should be a part of the daily lesson. Including the warm-up, it should last between 5 to 8 minutes. Your fitness should be about 5 minutes, and your warm-up or introductory activities should be 2 to 3 minutes. Number 3, you want to use activities that exercise all of the body parts and cover the major fitness components: upper body, middle, and lower body. Number 4, variety of fitness routines should be used. If you're going to use fitness routines, there's great examples in this chapter at the end of the chapter. Number 5, assume an active role in the fitness instruction. You can do arm circles, foot circles, maybe even jumping jacks or some things. So do as much as you can. Number 6, when determining the workloads for the students, remember time and repetition. Time and repetition are available alternatives. We always want to ensure success. So make sure that we allow students to adjust their workload to suit their capabilities. Remember our ectomorphs, skinnies, mesomorphs, muscles, endomorphs. Number 7, I want you to know, take advantage of interval training with the students. We want to do 30-second intervals with this. The longer intervals could cause them to become fatigued or bored and get off task. And when they get off task, that causes problems for you because there's going to be discipline problems. So I want you to know 30-second intervals. And I also want you to know you can alternate stretching and strength development exercises with the aerobic exercises. Number 8, music. Remember we talked about music earlier? We can use music to time their fitness activity segments. Again, 30-second intervals of music, 30 seconds of silence. Number 9, never use fitness activities as punishment. It probably has happened to you, but try and stay away from it as a teacher. Now we're actually getting to the actual fitness activities that you can choose from when choosing what fitness activities you want to incorporate in your lesson you're going to teach to us or to the class at the end of the semester. So on page 288, they talk about having the 5 areas, okay? Arm, shoulder, girdle, meaning your upper body, the trunk or abdomen, the middle part of your body. The lower part of your body is your legs and cardiorespiratory. And then you also want to work on flexibility. And as we said earlier, you can alternate between 30 seconds of strength or flexibility with 30 seconds of aerobic activities to avoid the students from getting tired. But I know I said this before, but I want you to remember, 5 to 8-year-old children, their head is about 90% of the adult size that head is going to be. So this is why they're called top heavy. And they have short legs. So I want you to know they cannot possibly succeed at doing push-ups and sit-ups. So we have what's called push-up lead-up activities that I want you to know about, that they show on page 289. And I want you to know the push-up where you just hold your body off of the floor, and then you wave at a friend with one arm, you wave at a friend with the other arm, all the while you're holding your whole body weight up off the floor. So this progression of developing upper body strength in K through 2 will help you to be able to do push-ups in developmental level 2, grades 3, 4, and 5. So make sure you know here about the alternating of 30 seconds. We talked about that already, and about the students being top heavy and having a difficult time with the push-ups and sit-ups, okay? Also, let's see. So on page 289, about the push-up lead-up activities, then we also have the abdominal strength lead-up activities. So K through 2, development level 1. Page 290 has the trunk development and leg and cardiorespiratory development. Then I want you to know on page 291 where they talk about the animal movements that we're going to do in activity 3. The animal activities are very enjoyable for development level 1. Development level 1. So if you're planning to do lessons for 3rd, 4th, or 5th graders, you cannot choose these animal movements. I also want you to know about the fitness games on page 291 that they talk about. These fitness games are highly motivating and excellent for cardiorespiratory endurance. So they give, they're listing a bunch of tag games: stoop tag, back-to-back tag, train tag, and then some more tag games on page 292. Tag games are excellent for introductory activities. And if you keep turning the pages, you'll see on page 293 parachute fitness activities. So if somebody wants to teach parachute activities in their lesson at the end of the semester, here's some great activity ideas for the fitness component of your lesson. Okay? And keep turning. And then we have the 4 corners movement that I use, and you can modify it to any grade level. And that 4 corners movement is on page 294. I want you to be familiar with these fitness activities for developmental levels 2 and 3, grades 3, 4, and 5. They are more structured exercises and routines, and they have 7 categories in this section of this chapter. Your flexibility exercises are on page 294 and continue on to 295. Then the arm, shoulder, girdle. This is where you actually do the push-ups, okay, or pull-ups or arm circles, crab kick, page 296. Page 297 has the abdominal exercises, and they list all kinds of ones on page 298 as well. Then on page 299, the leg and agility exercises. So hopefully you're looking in your book as this while I'm teaching it, so that when it comes to designing your lesson and you want to teach grades 3, 4, or 5, you are familiar with this in your book, and you'll know where to go for the 5 minutes of fitness. On page 300 is the trunk twisting and bending exercises, and that goes on for several pages. Page 305 is Pilates, and then you have your yoga, and then you also have all kinds of aerobic fitness routines on page 310, 311. On page 312, you have activities with manipulative equipment such as jump ropes, bean bags, hoops, and balls. Okay, and they give you sample routines. This book is such a wealth of knowledge. On page 317 is interval training. So your major problem is going to be there's so much out there. Where do you begin? So hopefully you have become familiar with chapter 14. So this is where this is where you go for the fitness part of your 30-minute lesson. So what is our takeaway from chapter 14? We talked about health-related fitness, and we talked about skill-related fitness. These are two essential components. Well, which one are you going to do? Health related or skill related for a well-rounded PE program? Then we talked about all the different fitness activities. We talked about physical activity. We talked about healthy eating and how all three of these contribute to the overall health of students. Then we talked about the different fitness testing and how it can benefit the students. Then we talked about the instruction itself, especially in fitness, how we should teach activities that carry over to out-of-school activities. Here are some good review and reflections. What are effective uses of fitness testing in your opinion? Which evaluation process is more suitable for elementary age students? How can you make it fitness fun? This might be some good bonus question I could ask at the end of the next test. What are some strategies that you can implement to help students understand and implement fitness? So if you get into fitness, you can and you enjoy fitness, you could really get into this with your students in elementary PE. And then number 4, where should the emphasis on your fitness development be for developmental level 1 students, grades K through 2? And where should it be for levels 2 and 3? So this concludes Chapter 14, Physical Fitness.